Hi guys, and welcome to your JA program called JA Career Success. This is session 4. You have heard from me before. My name is Megan Jaspersen, and I work for Purdue Extension as the Health and Human Sciences educator serving Perry and Spencer counties, doing community education around topics such as food, family, money, and health. In JA Career Success, as you know, we are talking about how to get a job and how to keep a job and giving you some tips and tricks on how to do that. Last session, we focused on collaboration and teamwork in the workplace. And today, we're going to really focus on what are called soft skills. Now, some of you may have heard of this term before, soft skills. But in case you haven't, I want to define it. These are personal attributes and behaviors that are not tied to a specific job. Now, when we talk about technical skills, this is the ability and knowledge used in a specific profession. So you have to have technical skills, but also soft skills are so important. So let's jump in and explore a little bit about what I mean when we look at soft skills versus technical skills. So employers obviously hire workers because they need specific tasks performed, right? They have a job to do and they need somebody to do it. Those tasks are what are considered technical skills. However, it is not enough just to know the technical skills and the ins and outs of the job. Employers are really also looking for workers that have these good soft skills. And some examples of soft skills include leadership, so being able to take the reins on something, having self-direction and not needing somebody else to tell you what to do all the time, having a good work ethic, a positive attitude, and being good at time management. So let's give some examples. When we think about technical skills, some examples of this would include being able to design a brochure, doing a weld, or working an ultrasound machine. But these soft skills that I'm talking about are also just so essential for success at work. 3 out of 4 employees who are fired are let go because of a problem with their soft skills, not their technical skills. So that means they knew how to do the job, but they didn't necessarily know how to relate to other people. In my job as a community educator, I talk to people all the time. One of my taglines that I try to remember before I do a community program is connection before content. If you're not relating to people and using some of these soft skills, they're not really going to give you as much credibility. So these soft skills are super important. Okay, let's talk about the use of soft skills when you're trying to get a job. In order for you to actually land a job, it's not enough just to have these soft skills, but you also need to demonstrate your skills to a potential employer during the interview process. This might feel like a lot of pressure because the interview process might not be very long. You might only have 30 minutes to an hour to demonstrate that you do have these soft skills, but how are you going to do that? What are some tips? Let's take a look at why these are so important. And when we think about the interview process, if you've never gone through an interview, these can be done in various ways. For example, you can have an in-person interview, an interview over the phone, or in the form of written questions and answers. They can also be held over a virtual platform like Zoom or Skype, which is becoming a lot more common. And it might be a combination of all of these. It might be an interview process where maybe you start with a phone interview and then they ask you to come for an in-person interview. So be sure to know what to expect up front. Don't be afraid to ask. When you're having an interview, what might you do an interview for? These could be for a job, but also a potential scholarship for college or some other position. They could be for a club or some organization if they have stipulations around their membership, or it could also be for some other type of award. And it's really important to know that often a yes or no answer is not going to cut it in an interview situation. It takes giving an example to really completely answer the question. So for example, if an employer asks you, let's say, if you've ever held a leadership position and you simply answered yes, that would not be sufficient. And really, that would be a missed opportunity to showcase your abilities and to let that employer know how you've been a leader. These types of questions open the door for you to highlight your strengths. So make sure that you're taking advantage of that by elaborating and telling the interviewer how you've been a leader and in what position and how it went. They really want to see that you can demonstrate that to them. So demonstrating your soft skills in interviews, it can be a little tricky, but here's a few additional tips. Repeat the interview question to yourself and make sure that you know what is being asked. Don't panic. You want to stay calm. And if you don't have an immediate answer, that's okay. You can take a moment to pause and come up with an answer, formulate your answer. I think interviewers appreciate an answer that is well thought out, even if there was a slight pause between the question and your answer, versus something that's just rattled off without a lot of thought. And you always want to include, like I said, a brief example in your response that demonstrates that you have the soft skill that they're asking about, even if you are just asked a yes or no question. The example you include, it can certainly be brief, but you do want to highlight details applicable to the job, that are recent, that are true and believable, and that clearly answer the question. And this might take some practice, but you can practice for interviews, and just rehearse some of those answers in your head. A couple additional interview tips. I would really encourage you to research the company. You don't want to go into an interview blind about what that company is doing or what they might expect of you. So really get online, find some other sources and do your research, find out about that company, get to know some things about them. As I just mentioned, you can practice your interview answers. You can go online and just search for commonly asked questions in an interview, and you'll get a ton of food for thought and things that you can think about, and just prepare for ahead of time some of those answers. Always be on time. It just shows, again, it demonstrates that you're responsible and reliable and can show up when you're supposed to. You really want to focus on staying calm and positive, but also be upbeat at the same time. It's no secret that interviews can sometimes be nerve-wracking, but you want to put your best foot forward. So try and calm those nerves a little bit, settle those down, and just have a positive attitude and really be yourself. Also, you'll want to be honest in your answers, and like we've been talking about, have some examples ready of times that you really showed extra initiative or went above and beyond in whatever situation that you were in. You really want to paint the picture for your potential employer using examples to show why you are the best choice for the position, because it's likely that they're interviewing other people as well. And then it's always a good idea to follow up after the interview. You can do this via email or with a phone call or even with a quick handwritten letter, just thanking the interviewer for their time and, again, expressing your interest in the position, letting them know anything else you want to know on that follow-up. So let's do a quick recap. Soft skills are super important to keeping a job, and you should start now developing good habits in your daily choices so you can really hone in on those soft skills and let employers know that you have them and that you're relatable, you can work well with people, be on time, all those things that we just talked about. And then before a job interview, it's really important to prepare personal stories that highlight your soft skills. Make sure you have some of those examples ready that you can pull out and share with that employer on the spot. And in our next session, we are going to explore your work priorities. So be thinking about that. And right now, you guys are going to move on to an activity that assesses your soft skills. So enjoy that, and we will chat again soon. Thanks for your attention today.